Now, South Africa is making strides in bridging the digital divide, but not fast enough. Technology and digital innovation have been pegged as a critical tool for economic growth, as is seen as pivotal for many jobs of the future. Africa Beyond 4IR is a non-profit company founded on the market need to redress the digital divide apparent in previously disadvantaged communities of South Africa. Kilebohela Molopjana is the CEO at Africa Beyond 4IR. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Talk to us and tell us more about the importance of this technology, because at the recent World Economic Forum, the fourth industrial revolution was among the big discussions, which was topical. What are we really talking about here when we make reference to it?
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me. As you mentioned, I'm from a little company called AB4IR. We're an incubator, an ICT incubator, and our intention really is to infiltrate the disadvantaged communities, introducing this very 4IR we're talking about. Your question, what exactly is 4IR? Many of us may remember there used to be an era where we spoke about the discovery of steam. That was the first industrial revolution. Then there was a discovery of electricity, and then the internet came, which is the third industrial revolution. And now in the fourth, we're talking integration. We're talking the smart way of doing things. This is how machine is talking to us, how your TV now says, now that you've watched Newzroom Afrika, perhaps you should also look at this other channel. How you can automate your house. You've seen, I'm sure, in movies where you can walk in, clap your hands, and the blinds go on, off, lights go on and off, and so on. So the fourth industrial revolution, it's really integration. It's a smart way of doing things. It's about big data. In this particular revolution, data is king. And this is how we find people phoning us all the time, and you wonder, where did they get my numbers? That is the data we're talking about, data collection, data analytics, and it is such a beautiful space to be in. Most of us are in it and we don't know it. The smartphones we are holding in our hands, that is the fourth industrial revolution. Can you imagine? That's a computer that's been compact into a little thing like that. So in the nutshell, that is the smart.
Most of us are in it and don't know it, which, you know, it has its pros and cons. What are the concerns when it comes to perhaps privacy and confidentiality? That
is one of the downsides. With everything that is out there, there's always the good and the bad, obviously. And I think this is also how we came up with the likes of the POPI Act, where we need to draw a line between what is personal and what is public, where information is concerned. But unfortunately, you see, this is a thing that we're also trying to teach kids, is that the internet has a really, really big memory that lasts forever and ever. So it is important that you are cognizant of what it is that you are putting on the internet, your digital footprint. That is what we're talking about. So cybersecurity is a thing. I mean, you've heard of banks that have been hacked. You've heard of companies that have been hacked, and your information. Not so long ago, I think it was the what is this? It just left my head. That was also hacked, and it is a big company. It is sensitive information. So from time to time, cybersecurity comes in. We test the platforms, and we want to come up with sustainable solutions.
Yeah, and in looking and considering the demographics in South Africa, and you know, one can't help but wonder if there is that sense of readiness for the changes that will be brought on by the 4IR. Is South Africa and the continent really prepared for it?
You know, we have very real issues as South Africa and Africa that we're fighting against. Poverty still is a real thing that we need to look at. We have issues around access to water, access to proper sanitation, before we can even talk about the fourth industrial revolution, access thereof, because the biggest thing where the fourth industrial revolution is concerned is the internet. Infrastructure is a problem. And sometimes we tend to think it's infrastructure in the deep rural, but you'd be amazed that peri-urban areas where you think it should be easily available are still struggling with it. So our TVET colleges, to say the least, We're based at a TVET college, at the 20 South TVET College. So you'd be amazed that you still, in this day and age, 2022, have a student that comes to a tertiary institution and has never interacted with a computer before. I mean, those are some of the issues that should be handled at a fundamental level, at primary and middle school, at least at the high school, to at the very least before you go to tertiary. And that is the digital divide we're talking about. Then you speak about the gender divide, where we have such few ladies in the ICT sector that it really is not funny.
You also introduce startup entrepreneurs to new trends in technology. How are you working around that?
As an ICT incubator, our core mandate is literally to create an enabling environment for entrepreneurs to come and use the space. So I've alluded that there is issues around resources. When we set up ourselves in the TVET college that we're in, there was no infrastructure. Like, we were dependent on Wi-Fi. We had to set up fiber, and it took a long time, you know. So you can imagine for an average person. So we come in as an incubator. We encourage participation in the ICT sector. We provide technical training, provide business training, and then we take them through an incubation program for 24 months, where basically they're taught about how to run a business, how to manage a business, and ultimately graduate out of the program being a sustainable business. But then we also have like what we call pipelines. Currently, we're running an IT systems development, and this is literally taking youth that are not in education, employment, or training, the NEET, and we're training them on IT systems development. It's a new skill. We couple it with entrepreneurship. Some are creating their own jobs, some are being employed, but at least we're kind of dealing with unemployment. We're dealing with access to new skill and introduction to this why are we talking about.
Yeah, and you and I speak at a very crucial time where, of course, we saw the outcomes of the matric class of 2022. Some may have not fared, and others may be reconsidering their paths in terms of career lines. What options are open when it comes to tertiary level and perhaps universities, technical colleges? What are the options around the ICT sector?
So as I said, there's always one of the most beautiful things that have come with this new space of integration and smart way of doing things is the use of internet and finding free courses that are out there. So many people are offering a lot of free and credible, may I say, courses. I know there's Digify Afrika that have offered as well digital marketing. I mean, the jobs of the future have changed. They are so different from what you and I used to look at, a clerk, administrator, but now somebody's looking for a social media manager. Who knew there would be such a thing in life, you know? So there's options of going to business incubators. There's options of going to enterprise development agencies. There's options of going online and learning a new skill. You could turn it into a business. I mean, YouTube is one of those very beautiful platforms where literally you learn your own new skill. They show you tutorials and. So the possibilities are endless. And it's really, I think, just about asking the right questions. Find a mentor, ask a lot of questions, find somebody that can help you through it. And there are so many options.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks for talking to us. All the best to you. Ke lebohile Molopyana, CEO of Africa Beyond 4IR.